So this is a remembrance tier list, not an all boss tier list. Because I feel like it's kind of unfair to like put someone like Golden Hippo next to like Mesmer. They just don't have the same kind of level of care, and it's just a different category, you know. With the addition, obviously, of Bale as well. So I'll preface as well my kind of, obviously this is a personal list. If you disagree, you're welcome to make your own tier list. There's a completely personal thing of how my kind of play style. I did a variety of play styles when I fought all these bosses. So I'm kind of giving my overall opinion on how they feel to fight, and specifically how they feel to fight at level 1. You know, there are some moves on a normal run that are inconsequential, like Elden Stars, but at level 1 become just like so difficult to deal with. And like the Mateer Laser, you might not even notice, but at level 1 you definitely do. So this is specifically for a level 1 tier list. So S rank is best of the best. They're the best bosses in the game. A rank, very, very, very good, but just like not quite best of the best. B rank is really good, you know. C is kind of mid, you know, they're fine. And D rank is like, they're the shit tier. They're just like the worst bosses. This isn't going to be ranked in terms of difficulty. This is going to be ranked in terms of how fun they feel to fight at level 1, I think. Like how enjoyable and satisfying they are to fight, not how difficult they are. I think difficulty comes into it, but I think it's like just the satisfaction of fighting them and how interesting their move set is. Let's stick with Godric. Yeah, the difficulty curve of Elden Ring, you get your head smashed in by Margit unless you like, you know, explore the open world and go very strong. And Godric, I think, is noticeably a step down in difficulty. I think Godric and R'hllana as well, R'hllana, if you're not, you know, if you're just leveling up. R'hllana is easier, I think, even than Margit. And then Radahn is a step up. I think Radahn is much harder. So Godric is, like, I think, a noticeably easier boss. But fighting him with no upgrades really makes his moveset like really shine if you fight him with no upgrades at all. Because you can't just like, he's got very low stance, and he does spend like a considerable time at the start of phase 2 and the end of phase 1 kind of pretty much standing still for you to hit him. So you can obliterate him very quickly if you're a little strong. He's got some really fun moves to strafe. I love dodging his smash on the ground attacks. I like that's a really fun combo to dodge. I will say, I think what I want to prioritize on this list, not just fun, but also variability in how you fight them. Different options you could use, and my personal bias is like I love bosses that prioritize rhythm over reflexes. I like the kind of rhythm game element to combos of like dodge, dodge, wait, dodge, dodge, rather than oh, it's coming, press the button, you know? I like that more. And Godric has some good rhythm. I think Godric's a good boss. He does get overshadowed by some of the flashier bosses. Again, I'm trying not to put presentation into it because Godric's just kind of awesome in his whole shtick. I think Godric has to be B tier. He's really good. When I start up a new playthrough, am I super pumped to fight Godric? Is he like in the front of my mind of like, ooh, what strategy am I going to use against Godric this time? Not really, but he's great. You know, he's a really good fight. R'hllana, we're not taking presentation or story or anything into account. I think the whole thing with the weird, creepy, crawling slug girls, I think that's awesome. The summons are really annoying. I think any boss, especially at level 1 when you're dealing with multiple damage sources, are really, really tough. Well, yeah, actually, no. I mean, it's only really the Bloodhound Knight that you really have to worry about. But the fact is that when the summons spawn, if you're playing, I mean, especially no upgrades, the strategy is really to run away until they disappear. And when the dragon spawns, you can just keep hitting her and it's nothing. It's like a fake out. A lot of her moves, like her Comet Azure, you can just run up to her. So once you kind of figure out how to deal with her stuff, she becomes like very much a non-issue, but she is just like really boring, I think. The whole like preamble of getting the bubbles, and some of them, it's random. Some of them might be behind a bookcase on the other side of the arena, and you don't really know until you do a whole loop. Yeah, she kind of sucks. I don't think she's D tier because she's like not frustrating enough. But she's not a great boss to fight at level 1. She's definitely not a boss I look forward to, so I'm going to put her there. Okay. Radahn. This is going to be a controversial one, I think, for me, but I can't remember if I talked about this in the base game one, but I'm not a huge fan of Radahn in the base game. A big part of it is the preamble of getting to him. I know there's things you can do to skip it, where you go down to the beach and let him come to you, but that's not fun. It's just helps you avoid the frustration, which doesn't make it enjoyable to me. I typically play without summoning. I find at level 1 in particular, summoning people makes it actually harder because they'll just randomly switch aggro on you. But yeah, I don't find him like super... You'll notice, I'm sure, once we get to like other bosses, I really like bosses where you can interact with them while they're doing combos. Like you can get little quick hits in. And Radahn, you can't really do that. You kind of got to wait till he finishes his big combo and then get one big hit. So I don't love that. I was going to put him on the same tier as Godric, but I like Godric way more than I like Radahn. But I also like Radahn. Oh shit. Am I really going to put Radahn in C tier? Are you guys going to unsub if I do that? I think I have to stick to my guns, my initial emotional reaction. He's better than Renala, but I don't love him. I definitely don't love him as much as Godric. Rykard though. Ooh. I love Rykard. I love him. I'm trying to keep, again, the presentation out of it, but how cool. How cool is Rykard? There's a couple issues with Rykard. Obviously, the shockwave thing is like requires such a specific solve that does take the kind of variability aspect out of it. And obviously, there's the variability aspect of it that you can really only use one weapon. So I think that does kind of take him down a couple points. But God, it's such a cool fight. Even with that kind of restriction. Like, it is a gimmick fight. It is the best gimmick fight. It is the gold standard, I think. For that, like, you have to use this weapon and shoot long-range projectiles. It is so much better than Augur in Night Rain. Rykard is so much better than Augur. Oh my god. But I'm gonna keep him out of S just because you are strong-armed into one way to fight him. I think Rykard's great. The Regal Ancestor Spirit. Yeah, I mean, I forget this boss is in the game. It's crazy how much of an appearance he gets in Night Rain. He's everywhere. His one kind of gimmick is that he heals, but he has such low resistances that you'll do so much damage if you kind of spec for it. And none of his moves are particularly scary except for like one of his headbutts is really quick. I think definitely one of the trickier things about him is his model is really spindly. So I find like most of the time, whatever weapon I'm using, I need to jump attack him. But he's not frustrating. I mean, he is in the sense that like he flies away a lot. And he puts goo on the ground so you can't like go up to him and stay in close range. Is he Radahn? Renala levels are frustrating. I don't think so. But Godric's definitely better. I mean, C tier we said was like mid tier, right? It's not bad. So I think he's C tier. He's just fine. You know? I like his kind of combo where he does the dance in the air and then lands. I think Radahn's better. He's more frustrating, but he has higher highs, you know? Regal Ancestor Spirit's just kind of nothing. Estelle. Oh, Estelle's pretty annoying. I don't love Estelle. Estelle has so many get off me attacks that and like teleports. It's pretty frustrating. And the model is really annoying because it's just like you miss all the time. It's again like a really cool presentational boss. I've been fighting her a lot in Night Rain. Estelle gets a pretty big boost, like a buff in Night Rain is a lot stronger, so I think you get a much clearer sense of the moveset when you're struggling like that, and it's pretty annoying. Who enjoys fighting Estelle? I don't think many people do. Estelle's pretty boring. Just a lot of like, okay, he's doing the slam, I gotta run out. Okay, now I run back in. There is some kind of skill expression in like rolling the big gravity attack instead of running out, but even so, you can't really punish. Yeah, it's not shit tier, but it's not great. It's not great. Morgott's one of the best bosses in the game. And Margit with him, like the perfect introduction boss, the perfect tutorial boss. Everything from... I mean, I said I'm not going to talk about the presentation, but I've talked about it in pretty much every single boss, so I suppose I am. Margit and Morgott have some of the best dialogue in FromSoft history. It's so good. Abandon, you know, foolish ambitions. My favorite line of dialogue ever in a FromSoft game. Have it writ upon thy meager grave. Felled by Morgott, Omen King. I love it. It's so good. And I love... As Margit, the kind of introduction, his kind of role is to, yeah, abandon foolish ambitions. You want to become the Elden Lord. I'm here to prove that you can't be. And he's so mean. It's where you first start to see those real crazy delayed attacks. It's where you kind of, yeah, you get a real sense that you can't heal as safely as other games. He just teaches you how mean the game is going to be. He sets everything up. I think he's perfect for that. D tier for balance. Yeah, I think that's Morgott's biggest flaw is that when he is at the mid game, most people are going to be stronger than he wants you to be. But if you do restrict yourself, like when I restricted myself for my Mind Over Morgott video, I took more attempts getting Morgott down than I think Maliketh or Malenia. He's like really hard if you nerf yourself. I had a +5 weapon when I fought him like that, and I used parries and the deflecting hard tier. And it's a really fun way to fight him. So again, Morgott has the points for variability. You could parry him. You can deflect. You've just got a lot of stuff that you can do. Strafing that big spinny combo, sprinting around it is really fun. The get off me moves don't feel too oppressive. You can jump in pretty quickly. And you can attack him mid-combo. Like he has that thing of like attacking during the delayed attacks that I really like. He's really up there, I think, with the best bosses in the game. And yeah, definitely one of those bosses that I look forward to fighting when I start a new run. And really have a think about how I want to take him on. I think that's like the real fun of level 1 of like what do I build, because he's also like weak to a lot of status, so you got a lot of fun stuff to play with there. Yeah, he's cool. He's really cool. Fire Giant sucks. Fire Giant sucks in particular because I think he's the biggest jump in difficulty at level 1 out of any other boss because of just his massive health pool. I mean, I showed in that video like he can get absolutely blitzed with the right setup. But it's a slog if you don't spec for it. When I was trying different builds, you know, you do a build that's strong against him and he's just like, he's dead, no problem. You do a build that's fine or even weak and you really feel it. He has a lot of jank with fire, just in the way that FromSoft have programmed how fire works in this game. Some of his hitboxes are really weird. Yeah, he wants you to just slash at him and just chip away at his massive health bar, but he's got so many get off me attacks that you just have to respect. So you spend most of the time just like run away, run back, he rolls away, you gotta chase him. You're not really boxing with him, you're just like taking turns, closing the distance, and there's a lot of jank. I think Fire Giant sucks. Is he one of the worst bosses in the game? I don't have the same level of hate for him that I do on other bosses, just because you have the ability to get so strong that he's a non-issue, you know? I guess bosses that you feel compelled to skip are not good bosses, you know? Like, Godskin Duo I find is fine now because I just sleep pot him and then kill him and it's not a problem. That doesn't make them good. It just means you can skip them pretty easily. So yeah, I think he has to be a D tier boss. He's not the worst of the worst, but he's not good. If C tier is mid, he's not mid, he's bad. He's bad. He's a bad boss. Maliketh. Maliketh's really interesting. So many people love Maliketh. My issue with Maliketh is the size of his model and the way he's shaped can sometimes make hitting him difficult because he can whiff a lot. But what I like about him is that he has two phases that are very distinct. They're completely different fights. The issue is that phase 2 is actually really, really easy once you figure it out. But I had very different experiences fighting Maliketh on my first run through than I did on like other ones. When I first fought him, I could not figure him out. I didn't watch like no hit guides or anything when I was doing that. I was just like stumbling through it. And I could not figure him out. And so I ended up just cheesing him with Ice Spear and got him down really easily without really engaging with him at all. And the next time when I did the Mind Over Maliketh video and figured him out, I had a much better time with him. Because you do, how I learned to fight him, or at least the way that I fight him, is like hunting for that one combo that you can punish really easily. But there are other ways, I'm sure. You do kind of feel like you're chasing him a lot. Like he backs off you as you're trying to run after him. And then in phase 2, he's the aggressive one, but he does a lot of like big... The thing about in phase 2, the trick I've found is that he will do one big slash or one big move. You roll that, and then you can just literally just do whatever you want, and he'll let you hit him. So phase 2 is really easy. I love Blasphemous Claw as well, Warren. I think that's a really fun element to the fight that's completely unique, and that definitely gives it some points. And I like that it's not just a free riposte. It has a unique interaction where he just like blindly hits like, is it Yorm in Dark Souls 3 that he does that? Malik is good. I don't think he's one of my favorites just because I think phase 1's a lot more interesting than phase 2. Phase 2 is pretty abusable. I think the big crazy attacks, they're cool. They're like visually really interesting, but I don't think they're particularly interesting to dodge. That's the fun element for me at level 1, is just like, learning a moveset, the rhythm of dodging and feeling the satisfaction of like, oh wow, I just pulled off this insane maneuver. And Maliketh's dodge, the strategies for dodging him are so simple that you don't really get that satisfaction in the same way as some of the other best bosses, in my opinion. So I'm going to put him right there, behind Rykard. I actually like Rykard quite a bit more than Maliketh for sure. Fortisax sucks. I think he's a lot more fun when you play him, when you play like Ice Spear or like the Dragon Hunter Great Katana, like you do something at ranged and try to hit his head, because then it becomes like a bullet hell thing where you're running from the distance and firing off these shots at the head. I think the strategy of running under him, getting some quick hits, and then running out before the thunder under you goes off is much less fun. That sucks. I hate doing that. So I think that takes down a lot of points in like variability, because that strategy is so much less fun and way more frustrating. And also the strategy of getting long range shots on the head does so much damage. I know you could like nerf yourself by not using an upgraded weapon and everything, but Vortex is pretty easy to take down with that strategy. He's got some fun stuff with like, I like the big slam attack, which you jump over the shockwaves. I like that attack a lot. I like dodging that. I think that's the only move that I'm thinking of that is really fun to deal with on Vortex. I don't think he's anywhere near as frustrating as Fire Giant. Is he more frustrating than Estelle? I like Estelle's move when Estelle teleports away and you have to like move you have to unlock and look around, because sometimes he teleports away and sometimes he teleports above you. I like that kind of jump scare aspect of the cosmic horror where you're like, he could be anywhere. I think that's a really cool aspect of Estelle. The only move of Vortex that I think is cool is the jumping one, but that's shared by other dragon bosses, so I don't feel like it's really unique to Vortex. So I'm actually going to say that I like Estelle more than Vortex. Don't know if that's controversial. Placidusax, I do like more than Vortex. He does feel a bit health spongy, especially at level 1. I think the crazy laser move definitely sucks. Oh, actually, we're talking about level 1. The laser move fucking sucks. You have to do a very specific strategy with that laser move where you got to run to the side of the arena, or you just cross your fingers. Oh yeah, that might actually take it down some points. But he does also have a similar Vortex problem of like, Vortex and Placidusax will be doing nothing, like they'll be in recovery, but you can only get one hit in because thunder spawns underneath you. Yeah. You're not like really responding to anything, you just know that's the rule, you can't get more than a certain number of hits. I really like the combo where you duck underneath his swipe and then run to his tail. And I like the strategy of like jumping on the other side of his tail so he'll push you away from the laser as you're like charging heavies. I think that's really fun to do. Are there any other moves that are fun? He does a lot of teleporting. You are really waiting for your turn on that. I feel like you have more variability of options than Vortex, but you do kind of want to go to status because his health pool is so big. Ooh, is he better than Vortex? Is he better than any of these bosses? I've got a lot of bosses in mid-tier. Where does he go? The laser move sucks. I actually do think Vortex I like more than Placidusax. It's tight though. They're both not great, I have to say. I don't love him. I don't really like fight. Yeah, he has the worst run back in the game, but it's not that bad. It is noticeably more annoying. I mean, actually, no, I think Renala's run back's worse, because you gotta either go dodge glintstone shards or run under the boulder. That's not great. And it's way more frustrating. Actually, I'm gonna put Renala there. She sucks way more. Oh, I think the laser makes it worse, but not as bad as Renala. And I'm actually gonna put Regal Ancestor Spirit above Radahn, sorry. Moog is one of the best bosses in the game. I love Moog. Moog's really cool. He's a very fun moveset to deal with. I really like how you learn your strategies for phase 1 and then need to kind of relearn them in phase 2 when you get that added element of the fire. It looks like absolute chaos when you first do it, and you think like, how are we going to do this at level 1? But there are just like, if you dodge a certain way, none of it hits you. It is like this little element of chaos a bit. There's definitely some like weird stuff with the tombstones. You get some weird interactions when he hits the tombstones, but Mohg's really cool. The knee heal, I think people complained about because it's like unavoidable. At level 1, even if you don't use the tier that negates it, you just heal through it. It's fine. You're not using your health flasks for anything because everything hits you. So I really don't think it's a problem at all. The issue with knee heal is if you have like if you're using bleed, you can obliterate most of his health bar during knee heal. But I do like the kind of thing, and Malenia has that thing too, but although you don't notice it at level 1, which is like you get that satisfaction of getting his health bar down to half, and then he heals. And it's just like that really love to hate him kind of feeling of like, you bastard, you know? You get him to half health and then he heals a quarter of it back. Yeah, Mohg's great. Mohg's up there with the best. A lot of people have problems with him. I love him. I think he's great. Godfrey's high. Godfrey is really good because both of his phases are so distinct and they're both really, really, really good for very different reasons. Godfrey's has the most fun dodging pattern. Like dodging his moveset feels really, really good. More so than I think any other boss in the base game. Strafing around those moves, jumping over the shockwaves, so cool. And then when you get to phase 2, he's so scary. You know, he's the most intimidating. Like he just charges at you. And it is definitely a boss where you have to get a sense of the timing of how long his delayed attacks are. Phase 1 feels like you're boxing with him, and phase 2 feels like you're just like running away from this giant monster. It's awesome. Godfrey is right up there with the best bosses in the game. He's so cool. And I love, more than anything, just the rhythm of dodging him feels so satisfying. It's like this dance. Malenia. Shit. It's no secret that I don't love Malenia. I do think the deflecting hard tier makes the boss a lot more fun for me. All the other solves to do with waterfowl, like the frostpot, it just feels like if you do that, the other things about the boss just aren't that engaging. I don't think the rest of her moveset outside of waterfowl is particularly interesting. The flurry is interesting to roll through. You can use barricade shield for, there are a lot of options. You could use the carrion thrusting shield. You can do vow. You know, there's a ton of ways to deal with it, but all of them are, just bypassing it. And it's just that move that you really have to consider because all the other ones are so manageable, Learning Malenia and learning waterfowl are two separate things. And so if you bypass it, like using barricade shield or throwing a frostpot, the challenge is, it's not that challenging. It's not that interesting to dodge her other moves. And she's very passive in phase 1. So you can't, the thing I find most frustrating about Malenia is you have to find that fine line between jumping on her to take advantage of a really weak stagger, like stagger out of moves that are staggerable, and then respecting moves that have hyper armor because you can't hit her out of it, and also just respecting when you might jump on her and then she jumps in the air to do waterfowl. So you have a lot of considerations to make of, should I jump on her head right now? But most of the time in phase 1, she's like just staring at you, looking at you. And I just don't think that's that interesting. Second phase feels better because she's more aggressive, so it's a little more reactive to what she's doing. I don't love Malenia. Deflecting hard tier again makes it a lot more interactive. But yeah, it is like a mental game, as you say, Warren. It is like she wants you to do something. I understand that people might find that very fun, because if she starts waterfowl when you're mid-air, there isn't an option that you can use to get away from that. I think she's in mid tier for me. She has high highs where I like the clone move. I like dodging through the flurry. I like the learning process of learning which moves have hyper armor and can be interrupted and which can't. I think that's a really interesting and very unique thing about Malenia that other bosses don't have. I hate the passivity. I think she is specifically engineered to trigger me. I'm going to put it behind Regal Ancestor Spirit. Because Regal Ancestor Spirit's such a nothing boss. You know, there's no high highs, there's no low lows, but it's just like, it's fine. It's the definition of mid. Malenia is the definition of mid for me because like her high highs cancel out her low lows. That's why I'm putting her there. Controversial. Oh, shit. Elden Beast. Now, here's the thing about Elden Beast. Radagon is part of this fight because it's a remembrance fight. So this is Radagon and Elden Beast. Radagon, I think, is an amazing boss. Radagon is up there for me in S tier. I love Radagon. He has a ton of really delayed attacks, but he could be parried. I think deflecting is really interesting. And Elden Beast, I think, is maybe the worst boss in the game. For me. I hate Elden Beast. I hate Elden Beast. I think my hate for Elden Beast overrides my love for Radagon. That Elden Beast sucks. Yeah, Radagon is S and Elden Beast is D. But Elden Beast is so far into D that it doesn't matter how good Radagon is. The fact that you have to... The Elden Beast fight, because of how much he runs away and moves around, is so much longer than Radagon. You know, if you got a good build, you're likely to destroy Radagon in a minute. And then you're fighting Elden Beast for like 3 to 5. Ugh. He sucks. This is with the consideration that Radagon is one of the best fights in the game. Elden Beast is so bad that for me, he's near the bottom of D. I think maybe he has to be above Fire Giant just because Radagon is so good. He's D tier. Elden Beast sucks. One of the fights that I look forward to the least in any new run is Elden Beast, for sure, despite how good Radagon is. Because the thing about that fight is unless you take 2 weapons, the weapon you're using for Radagon is the weapon that you use for Elden Beast, which means it's probably going to be something for high stagger. So that really takes the variability out. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Elden Beast sucks. Divine Beast. Divine Beast I really like. I really like jumping the fountain thing. I think that's really, really fun. That rhythm is really fun. The quick bite that I don't think I talked about in the DLC video just because I had to kind of cut for time. And I don't really have any really great strategies for it. It's just like a move that you need good reflexes for, which is not really a strategy. Quick bite's pretty tough to deal with. Lightning's pretty annoying, but once you know how to deal with it, it's pretty inconsequential. It's just like another attack that's like Fortisax and Placidusax. Like you need to know that that's coming so that you like, if it happens, you just keep running out. There's a lot of like running away. Ice Phase is a lot more interactive, but it's not that much different to the normal phase. A lot of his moves kind of work the same. Like he has a lot of slams. He has a lot of big, long bites. I think only one of his moves is really like, oh, this is fun, which is the Geyser. I'm going to put him in B. He's good. He's not great. And yeah, I agree the camera hurts because he's just so big, especially when he rears up. If you're not at range, you're going to look at his belly button or you're going to look at the sky. So yeah, I think the camera hurts. Rolana. I should say, this is not a definitive tier list for me. At any day, I might give you different answers. I think I still like Godfrey more. No, oh, fuck. In terms of variability, right? If we're considering variability as an important aspect of this tier list on the different options that you use in a level 1 run of like the strategies that you can think of, like, oh, maybe this run I will parry Renala. Maybe this run I'll use the deflecting hard tier. I want to go hard into Scarlet Rot. Renala is up there just with the most amount of things that you could do to fight her. She's awesome. Renala's really, really cool. I loved discovering how many jumpable attacks that she had. Like, that's so crazy. You can just like really jump over most of her attacks. I didn't really do much strafing against her, and I know that's a popular strategy for people, so I think next time if I ever do a run, that's the strategy I want to practice. But it's so interesting. You know, I think that is a testament to the quality of a boss like Renala, when like there is an entire different way of taking her on that I haven't even touched in 5 different runs of the DLC that I've had. That's pretty crazy. That's like the mark of a really incredible boss. Gaius. I don't hate Gaius at all. I think he's very simple. Gaius is really easy once you figure him out. His tells and like the direction that you roll for his big combo. I think the way to dodge his big combo is very satisfying. Discovering that he does the charge after that slam, which you can kind of reverse, is really fun. The fact that you can get on Torrent's back to fight him is like I never felt the need to do that. And the thing about Gaius is phase 2 is just like not different enough. What's my opinion on the charge? My opinion on the charges is just like it's not that bad. I really, people were saying one comment said Gaius's charge was nerfed. I played it on release, you know. Even back then, I don't think it was that bad. And I think actually the decision to make him start further away is more annoying than good. I think people were like, "Oh, you can't buff before you can buff outside and then go inside." I don't know. So yeah, I don't have any issue with the charge. But yeah, I think he's a good boss. I don't think he's complex enough to be up there with the best, or interesting enough to be up there with the best. But he has some moves that are really fun to dodge. So I'm going to put him up there with. I think I'd put him above Godric, and I think I'd put him above Divine Beast as well. Putrescent Knight, I have a weird soft spot for. I really like Putrescent Knight. I think he's a boss that really goes. He's not one that's talked a lot about. I think because he's like one of the weakest. Like if you get a holy build, Putrescent Knight just goes down. Especially because it's kind of out of the way from where the other stuff is, like R'Lana. He's a lot easier than Renala. And I think it is, again, that FromSoft difficulty curve where it chucks a really massive challenge at you, and then there's some easier bosses afterwards to kind of make you feel like you're a little bit more in control before it hits some more challenges at you. Putrescent Knight is really fun to fight for me. He is much easier than I think he's the easiest boss in the DLC. But jumping his fire is really fun. I love the added addition of like needing to unlock and look behind you to jump that fire. I think is really fun. The combo where the horse comes out is really cool. But that the issue that he has, I think, is similar to Morgott, where his health pool is too small. He gets demolished. But I like him. I think he's great. He's better than Gaius. I like him more than Godric, and I'm going to put him in great. I'm going to put him behind Maliketh. Yeah, I like him. Ooh, I hate the tree. Sunflower, I think, is one of the worst. Do I hate him more than Elden Beast? Well, I think the thing is that Elden Beast is also Radagon, and I love Radagon, so... Sunflower sucks. Sunflower is definitely worse than Fire Giant. I have seen a strategy. I was editing the video, and someone on One Bros posted a video of them using the One-Eyed Shield. So I'm curious how cheesable that makes the fight. But again, if that is just like, oh wow, he dies so easy now, so he's not frustrating, it is still just like skipping the fight, which isn't fun either. So I think this thing of like, yeah, but you can demolish him and not have to deal with this, then, you know. The thorns, who knows how they work? I've done 5 runs of the DLC at level 1. I have absolutely no idea how they work. I've Googled, I've done research, I've watched countless videos of people dealing with them. I have absolutely no idea how it works. No one can tell me. It's so weird. I hate him. And outside of the thorns, like the rest of his moveset just like isn't interesting enough to really make up for the fact that that run sucks so bad. Yeah, Sunflower sucks. Mesmer's up there with the best. I think Renala's better because I think Renala has more variability. You can parry Mesmer. There's interesting things you can do with him. My first run was like combining deflecting hard tier and parrying, and that was a really fun run. It was fun to figure out, but it is like considerably weaker. You are nerfing yourself to do it. But that's the same with Morgott. Like you can parry Morgott, but you shouldn't be. It's not good. If you parry Morgott, like there are additional strategies that you need to do to keep yourself safe after you do it, because it's really risky. But yeah, Mesmer's like a really good love to hate him boss. His snake attacks in phase 2 are really cool and fun, but it is a bit wait your turny. He becomes a lot less interactive in phase 2 than he is in phase 1, but the moves are so much fun to dodge that I don't really mind. You know, there's so many bosses where fire's really annoying to deal with, but Mesmer and Midra, the fire's like really cool. Yeah, Mesmer's great. There's a reason why everyone loves him. He's really cool. Ramina. This is a level 1 focused tier list. The phase change definitely takes it down. The fact that you need to prepare some way to make sure that doesn't fuck you definitely takes some points off. Parrying makes the fight really easy, but it is so effective that it's borderline feels like cheating. You know, the fact that I could defeat Ramina at level 1 in 4 hits doesn't feel particularly fair. She's cool, like presentation-wise. The music is amazing. Her kind of bit is, her kind of shtick is, she raises her spear to attack you and her tail hits you in the head. Once you figure that out, it's not that much of a problem. The frame trap on the tail move is pretty annoying to deal with at level 1, but once you do, it's fine. Yeah, definitely has some jank. Definitely has some jank where some moves, like the big long combos, where you roll the initial ones and then she flails around, you can get pushed around in weird ways that like just feels like it's a bit immersion breaking, you know? You're like charging up a move and her tail just, it doesn't hit you, it just kind of shifts you. It moves you. Yeah, it's a bit funky. It's a bit of a funky fight. But I think she's like Regal Ancestor Spirit level of mid. So I'm going to put her above Malenia. Sorry. Bale. My opinions on Bale have cooled a bit. The fire move is just, I think it's unforgivable. It's so bad. How frequent it happens. But I've talked to other people and they've said, I don't have any problem with it. So I don't know what I'm doing. Like I did find ways to deal with it where it felt semi-consistent, but it still happened even with that strategy I found. The big fire breath move as well in phase 2 is like, it's really difficult to see if you're not unlocked, but then it's difficult to see where he is. Once you figure it out, it's not too difficult, but it's not good. That would be your favorite fight if he wasn't janky like 15% of the fight. Yeah, that's my problem too. But he does have a lot of cool things about him. I think he's like probably, for me, again, I have cooled on him, I'd say he's probably like behind Divine Beast. Like he's got some things that are so annoying that make me like really not look forward to fighting him. But I have grown to really appreciate the rest of his moveset outside of that, to a point where I do think he's fun to fight, but I just wish that fire stuff was better. Midra is not an S tier boss for me because of the phase change. There is like this weird kind of moment where all the fire's going out, where it's really tough to see him, and he does some ranged attacks, and you have to kind of cheat him a bit, run around him so that he doesn't fuck you. And that feels like a little bit of navigating jank in a way that I don't love. And he's also just simple. He's pretty simple once you figure him out. The two big punish moves are the strafe ones, and they're really consistent to get. The other ones aren't too difficult to dodge. The most difficult things to deal with is when you're at ranged. It can be really tough to deal with, but that's kind of it. The fastest moves that he has aren't that fast. but he is really fun. He's like just a really solid boss, you know? He's not the best of the best, but he's a fun boss. I look forward getting to them. The thing that definitely takes him out of S tier for me is Mini Midra. Mini Midra is really boring to fight. If you're at no Scattertree Blessings, it's really time consuming. But I like Midra. I think Mini Midra definitely hurts it. But yeah, Midra's really fun. Midra's a great boss. Well, I mean, for me, Matir is like Elden Beast levels of disappointment. Matir is so cool. I love the kind of cosmic horror-y vibes. I love more than anything in Elden Ring the finger stuff. I love it. I think it's so weird and cool. I will defend the finger ruins to my grave because I just think they're rad. I think the fingers are awesome. Matir is probably the worst boss in the game. The laser is a big part of it. I think the laser is like most of it. Just it doesn't make any sense why it works that way. And it has worked that way from the very beginning, and they've implemented so many changes. Like, there have been tons of patches. There is a whole new edition of the game being released. I saw that they did a patch notes and it was like they changed one thing. I have no idea why they haven't changed it. It makes no sense to me. It seems like such an easy fix as well. You know? Just making that gap a little bit wider so you can run under that. I don't understand why. I don't understand. And, you know, I've talked before about intended solutions, inverted commas, you know. I don't believe that any boss has one intended solution. I think that there should be a variety of ways to take it on. But there is only one way to take it on. And it definitely doesn't feel like you should, like that is being asked of you. You know, the only other thing like that is the Rykard Quake. But I think doing that is its own kind of fun gimmick. The Matir thing is terrible. It's terrible. Even Waterfowl, there are so many ways to deal with that one move, even though it could happen any time and you have to be wary of it and you have to think about the timer. Dealing with it, there are a lot of different options. Elden Stars, it really sucks. But the way to dodge it, even if you're up close, you know, you should be up close. That's the easiest way to deal with it. But now with Torrent, even if you're far away, you can get up to him and then go to the normal dodge pattern. So you can deal with him even at long range now. It does make him better. Matir, it's just like you have to stay at a reasonable range if he has it loaded. And then you have a tiny window after it finishes to hit him again. And if you don't get any damage off in that window, like he does some of his range, he puts the spiders out or whatever. Oh my god. It sucks. And I said in the video, like, if you fight him at max blessings, you might not even notice how bad he is. So it's another one that's just like, it's like Gods Can Do It. You can just skip it and then you won't feel how bad it is. But the fact that in order to not be frustrated with him and in order to not have a bad time, you just need to nuke him so you don't have to deal with him. That doesn't make him fun at all. Nuking him isn't fun. Deflecting hard T is definitely the most fun you can have with Matir, but there are only a few moves that is good on him. All the other moves suck. The Matir sucks. Matir sucks. Just, yeah. Both Matir and the Sunflower just are so bad. So bad. Promise Consort Radahn. Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna put it where I believe this is, and you can tell me how you feel about this. Promise Consort Radahn for me. After now 5 different times fighting him at various power levels, absolutely destroyed him in less than a minute. And the final run where I did with no blessings, no status, which was a 7-minute fight. 7 minutes dodging Radahn. Radahn is my favorite boss in the game. Promise Consort Radahn is my favorite boss in the game. Learning him and getting to a point where I'm so consistent with him that I can survive 7 minutes without getting hit at all has made him my favorite boss in the game. And although Malenia, I took a really, really long time to learn and deal with, I was infinitely more frustrated fighting Malenia than I was at Promised Consort Radahn. I never got super frustrated fighting him, ever. I think he is, like I said in the video, like he has elements of so many different FromSoft bosses. He has bits of Godfrey, like that slam move is in Radahn's moveset. Like he has that awesome move that I love in Godfrey's toolkit. One of the main reasons I love Godfrey, Promised Consort Radahn, has that pretty much the same combo. And he has some of Mohg's moves. Like he has like just all these, like he's like a pastiche, you know, of all the best Elden Ring bosses, and you know, some of the jank, that some of like the chaos of some of the worst bosses as well. It's just like this little bit of unpredictability though, you know, the fact that he will sometimes do long range moves at close range and close range moves at long range is like this little bit of weird unpredictability. And the fact that you really have to be wary of when you're in that trench. The trench, I think, post nerf is a lot better than it was pre-nerf. I think the trench got nerfed. The trench used to be super deep. I think maybe that's Mandela effect. So much more fun than pre-nerf. I'm definitely a post-nerf guy. Just fighting him recently was the first time I'd fought him post-nerf. Pre-nerf, the variability and needing to deal with the cross slash a certain way really hurt the boss for me. I felt like deflecting a hard tier really takes a lot of the frustration out of it, because doing that makes it a lot more manageable. I also like I said in the video, the light thing isn't a massive issue for me. I don't feel like I can't see anything. There's a lot going on, but I can see, unless you're at Radahn's back, then it's difficult to see, but then that's a positioning problem, not a design problem. You just need to make sure that you're at all times in front of him, and that's a common thing with a lot of bosses. That is definitely a thing with Mesmer as well. If you're not at Mesmer's front, it's very difficult to see what Mesmer's doing. Renala as well. Just don't like the light pillars. Yeah, I get that. I mean, for me, I found such a consistent way to dodge him that the light pillars were never an equation. I think there was the triple slash, one of the light pillars kept catching me, which is why I say specifically in the video to dodge left, because I think if you dodge any other way, the light pillar of that attack will hit you. But it is difficult to kind of figure out where you need to dodge in order for that not to hit you. Like the one where he does the berserk attack as well. The light pillar on that means that you can't punish him in the same way you might in phase 1. The only other times that the light pillar really becomes a problem for me is with the trench, and when what's the other time? Oh, with the AoE, if you're on the outside of the AoE and he does something, he does a gap closer attack to you and there's lasers going on around you, that's tough. But if you just sprint towards him as soon as the AoE's done, the lasers don't come in the middle. They only happen if you're on the outskirts. So yeah, all positioning stuff. I thought for a while that I just couldn't do it, because he has a lot of jank, but it's situational jank, you know? It's like, oh, Mikola's hair is so bad, but if you go in front of him, you'll never have to deal with that. I've been dodging this one attack a certain way, and I keep getting punished for it. It's that okay, well, you need to overcome that that thing and just like change the way you're doing it, or else it's just always going to kill you in phase 2. So you need to relearn it. In the same way that you need to relearn Moog, because suddenly that way of dodging it, you get fire in your face when you dodge it in phase 2. And in the same way that I think Mesmer's really interesting in the way that his moveset changes between phase 1 and phase 2. He's also just like really hard in a way that I think makes it such a satisfying ultimate challenge, you know? If you can beat Promised Consort Radahn at level 1, it is like, okay, that's the pinnacle, which is the perfect kind of final boss, you know? You want it to be the hardest thing in the game, and it is. Elden Beast is not. Elden Beast is like fine. There are so many, like even Godfrey right before is harder than Elden Beast. So I think it is just like the perfect final boss. I can completely appreciate that for some people, PCR pushes the bar beyond what is reasonably like a reasonable amount of challenge. I can appreciate that. I don't think it pushed that far for me. I like always having a kind of another rung of the ladder to climb. I think he's great. I think there's a lot of ways to take him on. Deflecting hard tier, I tried in phase 1, but in phase 2, it's difficult to find the times you can use it because of the lasers. I think the next time I take him on, I want to use deflecting hard tier and see when you could do that in phase 2. I think that'd be really fun. I think that is one thing, Bilge, the return of Radahn. Even me, and I'm like, I like Radahn. I mean, obviously he's my favorite boss, but my first time through, it is difficult to not be disappointed when you find out that that's the final boss, because the natural thinking is, well, I've already killed him, you know? So I get that. But I mean, separate from the level 1, the fun aspect of fighting him, I think it makes him a more interesting character. It makes Mikola a way more interesting character. Malenia, it like the world of Elden Ring becomes so much more interesting when you realize why Radahn is there. You know, what Moog was actually doing with Mick, you know, all of it. It becomes this really integral piece of the puzzle. From a lore perspective, I like PCR as well a lot more than people do. But separate from that, even separate from that, as a fight, as like a final boss, you know what I mean? Just like the hardest pinnacle challenge. He is that. He is so cool. He is so much more satisfying than Malenia. I think Malenia feels difficult in a way that is like a little unfair. I know some people feel that about PCI, even more so than Malenia, but I don't. Oh, Jesus, that scared me again. Hello. I need to turn that down. It's so loud. I think PCI is awesome. Yeah, I think that's my list.
You're beautiful.